This is John for The Patch and Johngy's Beat. Today I have the pleasure of being on the beat with Victoria Cheri Bennett, actress, singer, host, producer. Did I miss anything?
Sometimes I write for Screen Crush.
Okay, there you go. I missed writer, so we'll add
That's
that
all right.
on. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am great. Want to talk to you about one of your projects now, Beverages with Bevin.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'd like to start off with just a little bit of your background, if you could.
Sure. It all started way back in the day, when I was born in Houston, Texas. That's where I'm from. So, and then I have been a choir kid my entire life. And then I was a musical theater kid. So I came to New York to learn how to tie and step and belt a high E. Paid a lot of money for it, as everyone knows that college prices and conservatory prices are sky high. And then after that, only now use that talent to make music videos about Star Wars, Game of Thrones, DC, and Marvel.
Well, how did you have the courage? As a youngster, I barely figured out college when I went, like 50 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. How did you have the courage at that young age to go ahead and pursue your career?
Uh, well, I would like to blame Disney because being a 90s kid, as you well know, I also wrote an article about this for Screen Crush. The 90s was the Disney Renaissance era, and most of the protagonists had like this I want song of like, I can do it, I can go out there, I want to be part of that world. I want to be as from zero to hero. I can do this. I can go the distance. And yes, I threw in all those Disney puns. So Disney kind of gave this kind of like gumption of I'm an outsider. I can go out there and do it.
And you did it, and you are
I did.
doing it. You know,
Thank you.
you've done a lot of stuff, and I don't want to gloss over any of the stuff, but I really want
Sure.
to get to beverages with Beverage because that's the main point. But
Absolutely.
you are a Comic Con fan, right?
Oh yeah.
So what
Uh-huh.
draws you to Comic Cons?
Um, so I don't want to like be cliche and say Batman, but I will be cliche and say Kevin Conroy Batman. When I was a kid,
Oh,
also, this is not really a Disney fault. This is a Fox News, not Fox News. This is scratch that. Let me rephrase it.
sure.
Um, when I was a kid, I also grew up with like Nickelodeon and the WB Saturday morning cartoons as well. And the cartoons that I enjoyed was the Batman animated series that turned into the Justice League animated series. Yes, I know, guys, Superman animated series came first, but it's the Justice League animated series, and to me, the Batman animated series that followed with Batman Beyond made me a big fan of the character and comic books. And then, of course, X-Men what existed in the 90s as well. And that was a fantastic cartoon that got me into X-Men. And that's kind of what got me into the Comic-Con culture, if you will, because when you're a kid in Texas, I wasn't aware of like comic book stores weren't really around, but the cartoons were. And then later in life, I started reading comics.
So how long have you been going to Comic Cons? About.
Ooh. Well, I keep forgetting that 2020 was 3 years ago. I still think it's 2019.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
right? It's like
Yeah.
2020 just wiped like 3 years from my mind. Uh, I would say I started going to Comic Con. Well, my first one was New York Comic Con. I know there's
Oh,
Comic Cons in Texas now, but I never went to the Comic Cons in Texas. I did not go to Comic Con until I was an adult in my 20s, and it was New York Comic Con. So it had to be around 2015, 2016.
okay. So you're a veteran at this point.
Can
Uh,
I can I call myself a veteran? I know in New York you have to
yeah.
be here for 10 years before you can say you're a New Yorker. And
No,
I've been here for over 10 years now. So now I'm a New Yorker.
and you're a Comic Con vet. And
Oh,
and
great.
and wow, to start with the New York Comic Con, I've been to that. That is the most insane, cool, awesome, whatever you want to call it, Comic Con of any of them. But so let's bring it down to the present, I should say, not the forward. Let's bring it to the present. Tell us about Beverages with Bevin, how it started, and really, who is Bevin?
So Bevan is my Clark Kent alias name. She's my reporter name, if you will, especially at Comic Cons. Actually, a lot of people there know me only as Bevan, which is, and then later they see that I have another name, and like, who is this Victoria? I was like,
You're
I don't know, some
confusing us.
chick. um, So yeah, so Bevin is also a character name that I created in a web series that I did called Adultish. And so when I started working press for New York Comic Con for Den of Geek, they had actually asked me if I wanted to go by a shorter name because Victoria comes across, very elegant and long. And I don't know what it is with Americans, but we like to shorten names. Even my own family can't say Victoria. They call me by my initials and stuff like that. Like everyone shortens my name. I'm sure you would know this. I'm assuming your full name is Jonathan.
No,
It's just John?
Yeah, for me, it's actually they've elongated it. I'm
Really?
John. One of my friends years ago started calling me Johngy for no particular reason, and it just stuck. So then I
Wow.
kind of got stuck with it. And I mean, there are worse things to get stuck with. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fine. but
Absolutely.
but what
So yeah,
exactly? Go. I'm sorry.
huh?
Go ahead.
No, no, what did you say?
No, I was gonna say. So tell us more about beverages with Bevin.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I worked press for Denim Geek and then sometimes Fanbolt for years. And then after 2020, I there was just a guy that was on staff for Den of Geek that started making a joke because I'm a big chai fan, and I normally when I go to cons I drink like 6 of them to just power through, and I always start in the morning with a chai, and so he just said, "Oh, this morning we're doing beverages with Bevin, like our bevies with Bevin," and I was like, "Oh, that's a fun title. I kind of like that," and so I kind of adapted that for like a television idea because I really thoroughly enjoy, sitting down and chatting with people. And when you put a drink in somebody's hand, especially it's a drink they enjoy, there's just a whole different side of them that comes out versus the press circuit at Comic Cons.
Sure.
Everyone, and this is not a dig at press, but everyone's very presentational when they're
Right.
doing press because they have an agenda, which is I'm here to advertise said insert product, whether that be a film, a comic, a cartoon, a figurine, a product, whatever it is. Their job when they go into a press room is I need to highlight the product. I need to make sure that gets out there, that narrative gets out there. The point of Beverages with Bevin is sure to still offer that, but I care more about the person behind the product. And when you put a beverage in front of them, that person comes out.
Now, a lot of the creators at Comic Cons are notoriously introverted. They're
Yes.
extremely talented. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
I've done interviews with dozens, hundreds, whatever at conventions, and a lot of them are very introverted. And it's hard to kind of break through that shell. Other than the beverage, is there anything else that you do to kind of crack that shell?
Well, it's different for each person because normally you are correct. There are some introverted people, and when they sit down, I have to kind of feel out their energy, and I normally try and pick just a regular topic, either about the day, the traffic. If it's their beverage, normally I like to start with why this insert beverage, kind of thing. So for instance, with Delilah S. Dawson, who is a very acclaimed New York Times writer for Star Wars, she had a favorite celebratory cocktail that she always likes to drink when a new book comes out. And I got so we started with that backstory of that, and that kind of changed her demeanor to just be like, "Oh, I'm just having a drink with you." I was like, "Yeah, because I want them to feel like it's private,
Sure.
but even though there's like 2 cameras being pointed at them and they're mic'd up, you know."
Yeah. And I'm not asking for any particular names, but have you ever had an interview that was really bad and you just couldn't salvage it?
Um, well, I can thankfully say, are you talking about just beverages with Bevin or just in general?
Well, beverages with Bevan specifically, but in general, I mean, if you've got any story, go ahead.
Yeah, so I can thankfully say for Beverages with Bevin, everyone I talked to is in the show. We did not cut anybody. In fact, we only cut actually one person because they weren't with the company anymore, and we had to redo the interview with another person at San Diego Comic Con from New York. But that was the only reason why I was cut. It was like, oh, there's a different person,
Right.
so talk to that person instead. But no, everybody that I talked to at San Diego and New York Comic Con for the first season made it in. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of editing too. Like any awkward moments that we might have had, or, stumblings, that's of course, that's the beauty of recording things ahead of time. Like we can take
Right.
something out and, just whoop, copy, paste, cut it together. Oh, look, it's perfect. Nothing ever happened. Although sometimes we like to keep the mistakes because it just makes it funnier,
I'm with
especially if it's
you.
funny. We'll
Yes.
keep it in, kind of thing. In fact, there's a great example, and I don't mind name dropping this because it's actually on my Instagram account right now. So there's a great YouTuber from Real Rejects called Gregory Alba, or Greg, whoever you want to call. So he sat down and he starts asking me. He's like not aware that the cameras are rolling or something like that, or he's just asking me all the mechanics of like, so which camera is this, and do I need to suck in? Are you sure? And he's like, so how many of this is going to stay in? I was like, I don't know. Just depends on how I feel. This whole thing might stay in. And he goes, I want all of this to stay in. And just because he said that, we kept it all in.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
we posted it and said, here you go, Greg. You asked for it. Here it is. It's all in.
That's awesome. It highly entertaining. That's
Yeah,
cool.
he loved it. He reshared it. It was great. But anything that went bad, I can thankfully say that nothing has ever gone terribly wrong where I ask something and that said person takes offense to it. Because normally if that's never happened, but I will say that there's been some episodes that the energy is so flat
Sure.
that they don't get cut, but they do get trimmed down.
I completely understand that. This one is not one of those. I could tell.
Thank you.
Clearly.
Energy is high. That thanks to my tea.
There you go. Now you have 50 episodes or 50 guests on this.
We have 52 guests at 10 episodes. Yes.
That's pretty ambitious. Did you
Thanks.
intend to have that many, or like is it just through the process?
We did not intend to have that many. Honestly, it was just like, who wants to talk to me? I can do about 7 a day. And when you're at Comic-Con, there's just so many people there. And there's so many people to talk to. And I really wanted to talk to people from all walks of life. So, we're talking to people that staff the cons. We're talking to vendors. We're talking to cosplayers. We're talking to people like KRS Comics is one of them. We talked to Super 7 Funko Team. And then, we're also talking to some actors. Like we have Kevin L. Johnson from Ozark. That was on there too. It was really just I was doing a yes and. I was like an improv actor, but as a media host, I was doing a yes and. Sure, who wants to talk to me? Yeah, we'll squeeze you in. Like the one lovely story I have is we were at San Diego Comic-Con and we were supposed to talk to one person from Mondo. And that person was not, it was Hector. He was not scheduled. And this is also in the episode as well. He was not scheduled to, I think, Saturday. And so, the Funko rep, because Mondo is run by Funko, came in and said, hey, by the way, Peter, who is also with Funko, who is like the co-head with him. I'm not doing the proper titles for them, but they are wonderful guys. It's like, oh, Peter heard that Hector was going to get to come on a pirate ship. He really wants to. Can he come too? And I was like, sure. I mean, we don't have time till this time. Does he mind coming a day earlier? He's like, oh yeah. And the whole running gag when he sat down, I was like, I was so excited when I heard you were going to talk to Hector. I said, that guy barely talks. Get me on here instead. And it was great. And then when Hector came on the next day, I said, hey, Hector, Peter said you barely talk. And he was like, what? It was a great like little running gag. So we never intended to have as many as we did, but the people that really wanted to do it, we really wanted to make time for them. And so that's how we did it. And when you factor in the con hours itself for 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
It's not hard to talk to multiple people a day. The one that was really pushing it that I just for my liver and my sobriety was Saturday at San Diego Comic-Con. I had 12 guests and none of them were drinking water.
Oh,
none of them.
You're tougher than me, I'll tell you that.
It was entertaining for me and my crew. They were like, oh no, this is a lot of drinks.
As long as you knew where the bathrooms were, you had a clear path to that, you'd probably be okay on that.
They were also constantly feeding me food and water. So I could maintain it. But part of them didn't want me to be like, this is not a show designed to see how drunk I can get. That's not what this is
Right.
about. But there's nothing wrong with keeping me a little bit buzzed, just because that also can relax the guests, because
Sure.
if they're seeing that I'm having a joyful time and and enjoying my time but not being sloppy, I think that also helps them out as well.
Oh, I'm sure. So what's next for Beverages with Bevin? Another season? Do you have a guest list? Not that you want to reveal it, but do you have a guest list in mind?
So right now we are just trying to spread the word, because we do absolutely want to do more cons and more seasons. And I should say that we're not trying to stick to just Comic Cons. We want to go to different type of fan experiences. I'm a big football fan, and I'm talking about American football. But I mean, I would do some Ted Lasso soccer if they wanted me to. But we also want to expand to the video game community, the anime community. Fashion, I'm here in New York. There's a Broadway con here. I'm a musical theater major, would love to attend that. Fashion, of course, I don't know much about it, except that I see clothes and I go, oh, that looks cute, I'd wear that. So we're talking to a bunch of different companies about where we can go, because we for sure want to expand out from Comic-Con, but I think Comic-Cons in general will still be our main focus, just because I love that community and I feel that community doesn't get represented enough, like the celebrities do, but the people themselves don't as normally, as much as they should. So I'd like to keep giving a platform for them.
Well, along the lines of sharing, then tell everybody where they could find out more information about Beverages with Bevin and anything else you want to promote.
Sure. So Beverages with Bevin can be found on Tubi. What's great about Tubi is that you don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to pay anything for it. You can just, go on Tubi, or even just Google search Beverages with Bevin, and there's it'll show up on Tubi. There's also a website, beverageswithbevin.com, where all the hyperlinks are there if you would like to just go there instead. So I would recommend beverageswithbevin.com. My Instagram account is just constantly posting clips about it. So that is Bevin Batspice, Bevin Batspice. That comes from, if I were a Spice Girl, I would be a Bat Spice, because I
Of course.
Batman.
What else? Right now, they're really go ahead.
So also too, I do write video essays for Screen Crush. Ryan Ari is a wonderful guy. He and his adorable dog Doug. Oh my gosh, let me say that again. That's like a tongue twister. Ryan Ari and his adorable dog Doug. I do script for them. I actually am going to have one come out about what the real problem with Marvel is, and I'm excited for people to watch that. But I also do a loving love letter to Kevin Conroy. So if people wanted to type in Screen Crush Kevin Conroy, I did write that. That one was a lot of fun to write. And I also did a short little video essay on the Disney Renaissance, like I mentioned before, all on Screen Crush.
Busy.
I know.
So now the tough question. I said there was going to be a question at the end. What beverage would you have me have? If you were interviewing me, what beverage would you serve?
I normally let the guest choose. That's the thing. So the rule is, normally, I don't know if you notice this in the show, but I only drink what the guest wants.
Right.
So I normally don't choose it. But this is the first time somebody's asked me, would you choose something for me to drink? I honestly, because nobody chose this once, I would love a great glass of red wine right now.
While I have nothing against red wine, I probably would choose Coca-Cola Classic.
Okay, so I should have asked first, do you drink or not drink? Is it
I do. I mean, I'm not anti-alcohol. I do take them back, but yeah, I mean, my beverage of choice would, always be Coke.
Then, hey, you're like Carrie Fisher.
Well, the late and great.
She loved Coke. You know what? And so when you come on the show, you tell me it's Coke, we'll drink Coke.
Sounds good.
That will be what we do.
Victoria or Bevin, thank you very much for your time. I encourage everyone to check it out. Tubi is so cool. And to be able to watch this, I can't wait to rifle through all the episodes. I can't wait to see what's next for you. And if you would do me the favor, I would love to do an update interview with you in the future, see what's next.
Yes, absolutely. I'm down. Let's do it.
And if you ever come to Chicago for a Comic-Con, We gotta connect.
I am looking at C2E2 as one of the cons that I go to.
Sweet. Maybe I'll see you there then.
Yes, let's do it.
You have a great day and thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. I appreciate
care.
it.